So we're going to go to... Do you know what village you come from? Or you just know Kigali?
I just know Kigali. Actually, there was unrest earlier in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my mom left with her family then.
That time.
Yeah, so they lived in Uganda. She grew up in Uganda, went to school in Uganda.
Is that right?
She's never actually lived in Rwanda since she was a very little girl. Yeah.
That was the first genocide or the first uprising. In 1959 it was. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of Rwandese fled.
Yeah.
The second one was in the early 70s. Similar thing. So it was building up for like 40 years. Mm-hmm. So I think about 72, 73. And then the massive one on April 7th, 1994. Mm. The day after the president's plane was shot from the... You know how the genocide started?
Yeah.
You do know?
Yeah, the two presidents.
Right, were returning from a peace summit. From a peace summit in Arusha.
Gabriel Arimana.
Habyarimana, correct. Yes. Yeah. And then the plane, as it was approaching Kigali airport, was shot out of the skies. Shot out of the skies.
And that triggered everything. That was a sign for these people. I guess we can say now the Hutus who had been planning this for a long time. There's evidence of this. They now and had been going from home to home. Let's say you go from Loresho, Westlands, Kilimani, everywhere, home to home, recording, documenting who lives where. So they knew where all the Tutsis lived. They knew the address. They knew the homes. They knew everything. And that's when they started the genocide. 100 days of madness. By the time it ended, which was in July, more than 1 million, mostly Tutsis, had been murdered. 1 million people. So you do the math. When you calculate 100 days, 1 million people. How many is that a day? 10,000.
About 10,000 people every day. How do you kill 10,000? How many fit into Nyayo Stadium on a good day? 30,000?
30,000.
How many Kasarani is what? 60,000?
60.
That's the amount of people killed in a week. 6 days.
Oh, man.
All of Kasarani. Can you imagine? Madness like you'd never believe. So that obviously happened in 1994. 10 years later, I was telling Mayonde, we went to do a commemoration, 10-year commemoration of the horrors of 1994. Kumbuka, exactly.
Yes, it's called Kumbuka. So we arrived in Kigali and we wanted to do one. Obviously, every person, like you say, has a story to tell. And we met this young lady. The name it was on my mind. Henriette. Yeah, it just came back. Henriette, and then the last name is a long name. We met her. She was a tour guide at the memorial, which they had just opened up in 2004. So she was a tour guide. And as we were walking with her, I said, I know everybody here has a story. What's your story? And I'm telling you, man, the story that she told us was so chilling and heartbreaking because they attacked their home maybe 10 days into the genocide. Her mother, her father, her uncle, her aunt. I mean, she counted like 26 people who had been killed. She fled and jumped into the pit latrine. Georgia Inje. And hid underneath bodies in a pit latrine. For a week. Can you imagine? And every day or so they would take a body and throw it down the pit latrine where she was. And she didn't know whether she was alive or dead after a week. Pit latrine, already there's sewer stuff there. And then dead bodies rotting. Your family members. And you can't go up because those guys are still around. Can you imagine? I've never felt such a chill. How she survived, how she's still normal today is just God, It's God. Yeah. So and she told us, I guess, for them to tell the stories, it's a sort of like exorcising the demons. So she was happy to tell us how she finally crawled out of there. She hadn't eaten in a week. She doesn't even know how she was, what kept her alive. And as she went to the top on ground level, now she saw the rest of her family all slaughtered in the yard, all bodies rotting. And she didn't know where to go, what to do. And it took her a long time because the trauma was in her for the longest time. Finally, she found a neighbor who was a friend, and they took her in, and she got to eat and bathe for like 3 days or whatever it was. But I'll never forget, man. People suffered. People suffered, and I think with Rwanda, as incredible as a distance as it has come, there's still a lot of ghosts from the past that they have to really exorcise, because once in a while, you feel, how long can Kagame rule that country? And what's going to happen after Kagame is gone? What's going to happen? A lot of Hutus who fled across the border into DRC, now that it's 24 years later, now they're grown-ups.
Yeah.
Many were born in the camps there. Many of them are grown-ups now. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's a tough situation, but Kigali has come a long way since those dark days, and I hope they will never ever go back there. I hope.
Me too.
Because Henrietta, I mean, geez, she's brave people of Rwanda.
Wow.
Yeah, terrible stories, but they have to be told. That's what we call a story a day.